Hello.
Hi,
Hey,
hello.
Mark.
How are you?
Get yourself, mate.
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. You look. Sorry, let me just press this record button for a sec. Just a backup. You look a bit cold there, man.
A bit. Yes. Yeah, I'm in my studio, and unless I have the heating on, it's a bit of a witch's tit up here.
Yeah, it's good, man. Let me just increase the volume a bit, eh? First of all, how's your brother-in-law, mate? Jimmy.
He's okay. He's in good spirits. Yeah, just got to get this hip sorted.
Yeah, that's
But
good. That's good. Hey,
he's a
he's a fighter.
he's a fighter, and he'll just he wants to do the chisel tour real bad. So I'm pretty sure he's gonna like get himself sorted.
Yeah, now we're all waiting for that as well, mate. Hey, first of all, let me be the first to congratulate you on. I know I'm 2 months early, but let me be the first to congratulate you on your first anniversary of Bootleg Melancholy, mate. I can't believe it's 1 year already. Yeah, almost.
Crazy. That is crazy. I think about it. So a year ago, I released it in October. Crazy. But yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no, you're welcome. So it's been like 30 years, or probably even 40 years since you've been writing music. Do you feel like your music have, I guess, evolved in a sense to the current demographics or to your
Yeah,
taste, perhaps? Yeah.
I've been. I think I'm definitely in the to some degree. There's some DNA um, involved in my music that it's just always there. The omnipresent kind of factors, the characteristics that you'll find in probably all of the 17 records that I've made. But I'm also like a product of what is happening around me. I've always been influenced by what I'm hearing around me. So I don't feel like I have at some point kind of like put a cap on, kind of like, right, music stop there. I don't really listen to, and I know some people that are actually, that sounds crazy, but they're actually literally like that. And it's not a criticism. I'm not saying like how dare they, or like that's just completely like whatever, but that's just what is how they are. And I'm definitely not that. So
Yeah.
yeah, I just keep evolving. Maybe to some people that they hear me this one record in that particular year, and that's their reference to me, and that's fine. I don't, I'm not going to begrudge them for that, but I have a hard time kind of staying in one lane, as I say.
Yeah, sure. Um, so the first track to Bootleg Melancholy is Forever. To me, when I listen to it, it feels like I'm driving along West Coast Highway between Coogee, Fremantle, and Scarborough, in a convertible, which I do not have. It's got a summery, breezy feel to it, and this ode to nostalgia. Um, do you feel like it is important to think which track you put or which song you put as a first track to an album because it paints the picture of the overall album? In your case, Bootleg Melancholy has that. It talks about your life, your
Yeah.
journey. Yeah.
Um. Well, it was at some point I remember pretty early. It was one of the first songs I started looking at doing, and I thought this could be maybe one of the key tracks. So I just sort of put it off the side, started working on other stuff, then came back to it. I almost did that for subconsciously, for a reason. I didn't want to cook it too much right at the very beginning, because I wanted to do other songs and let the kind of sound evolve more, and then go back to that one, because I did know it was going to be probably a key track, and I wanted to let the germination kind of happen a bit more before I added more layers of paint to that one, so to speak. So but yeah, it just felt like it, that and the actual song Bootleg Melancholy kind of, and probably Corduroy and Crumbs probably.
Hmm.
Yeah, they sort of sum up a lot of the feeling that I was having, which was kind of this really strong nostalgia, and brought on probably a lot because we were in lockdown, and thinking about all the places that I lived and going, wow, did that really happen? Like just my mind was having vivid. And also in that period, I don't know what was going on, but I was having this reoccurring dream a lot. And it was a really strange kind of dream pattern time for me, actually. Like when I look back, it was like, wow, some really hectic, long, epic sort of dreams. um, yeah, I don't know, just different. Maybe because I wasn't traveling so much, and I can't explain it. But yeah,
Yeah,
I think a lot. I seem to remember a lot of people saying that they were having really hectic dreams in lockdown. So
yeah. And it's a very eclectic album as well. I mean, you got Vital Signs, which sounds very country-ish, in my opinion.
yeah,
Um, and also your last song obviously tells a very special, it has a very special message to it, isn't it? Remember My Love.
yeah. I think "Remember My Love" is like a, you know, it's almost like an anthem to the people that I love the most, or to people that I feel need to be reminded. It's like, hey, you know, remember that you've got this, and it's almost like a letter to myself too, in some ways, um, about like, look, you know, kind of, yeah, just, you know, you've got to sort of have some sort of love within yourself, really, to start before you can successfully love anybody. I believe it's true. It's been said, and I really believe that.
Yeah. And what is Bootleg Melancholy?
Bootleg Melancholy, the song, or the where
I
the title
guess
came.
the album, the song, the feel to it is
Yeah.
that there is a feel to it, obviously.
It was a title that I kind of had, and I didn't actually know what it was. I put the two words together, as I do with a lot of words. I like putting words that are incongruous in some ways, and just I like the juxtapose of some words. It's like how that, you know, it amuses me to some degree. And that was just something that was hanging around, and then I realized, hey, that could actually mean something to this record. And then I hung off the side still for a while, and then the song "Bootleg Melancholy" came about, and it just was one of those, like, you know, I was up very early that morning. I remember, because I had to fly somewhere, and I was up at before dawn, making a cup of tea, doing a rat test, actually, because we had to rat test before we would fly anywhere or do a gig. And I just picked up the guitar and started. Was like, oh, okay, yeah, you know, I don't know what this is. I recorded it, and then I came back to it. Was like, oh, yeah, I think I want to pursue that, and I pursued it. And the lyric then popped out, and it was like, basically I wrote a song about, which is something I'd never done before. It's very meta. I wrote a song about the process of writing the album. You know,
Yeah.
um, I was creating this bootleg melancholy because I was making myself melancholic just so I could get sort of inspiration from, you know, forcing myself to think about places that I've been to, or places that I've missed, or people that I've missed. I found it was kind of entertaining, almost like, you know, when you've got a loose tooth, and you just, like when you're a kid and you keep wiggling it because it's like a good pain. I felt it was like one of those good pains that I wanted to just keep wiggling. And then I thought to myself, like this is almost like I'm creating a bootleg, a fake melancholy, you know, just to put, like, for shits and giggles. And yeah, then that was that. It was kind of like, right, I kind of put this to bed. And then, you know, the reference to Elliott Smith is almost kind of like, people go, oh, the song sounds a bit like Elliott Smith. And it's like, well, that's the whole. I mean, you listen to the lyrics. I'm making doing a shout out to Elliott, and that's the whole, and some kind of irony there, but I don't know. It just seemed like, I find that I put that reference in because, also because I find that mural in Silver Lake in Los Angeles of him on the wall is a kind of the most beautiful thing, but also the most sad thing at the same time. It gives me like deep, like really anxious kind of sadness in my gut every time I see it.
Yeah. So you are coming to Perth in November as part of your national tour. And you were running in March as well, isn't it? So you must really love the touring life, you know?
I do. I love touring. It gives me kind of, um, a sort of a place to like kind of really canvas things. I get to play all my toys. It's like the most beautiful environment to kind of like have this, all my gear that I really love. And yeah, it's just the stuff you can't do at home. It really is. And having people to share it with is the ultimate. Like I love being in the studio because I'm making things ultimately that I'll hopefully get to play live. It's kind of like they go hand in hand, but one without the other just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So this tour will be the album tour, Bootleg Melancholy. I assume that you'll be playing all of your songs. Will you be chucking some classics as well?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Um, I've got a pretty good amount of time because we're not having supports, which I love having support acts. The energy that someone can bring is always, really appreciated, and it gets me seeing acts that I might not normally see. And I've had relationships with support acts where I've ended up producing and writing with them and stuff. It's a great thing to have to support and mentor, especially younger acts. So yeah, we won't be having any supports, but we have a bit more canvas to work with. So I've got two sets at these shows, and yeah, definitely going to be hits. If people are wondering, there's definitely. I mean, it says on their artwork plus greatest hits, so they're
Wow.
going to get hit.
Like, I know you'll be playing, like Tip of My Tongue and Come to Me, but can I make one request?
Yes.
Master plan, please.
Oh well, your request has been granted. I've
Thank
actually
you.
put it in. Yeah, I've been doing that song solo in the last few months at these other theater shows that I've been doing as the Forever Tour, or Forevermore now it's called, the leg added on. And it's one of those songs that I don't know why, but I didn't play it for a while, and I'm playing it again and really loving it. So the next step is to now play it with my band, which yeah, I'm really looking forward to. It's got a really nice atmosphere, that song. It's yeah, probably the only song where I've actually tried to, well, not the only song, I've done it a few times, but I've tried to kind of meld kind of Asian influences in with my thing, whatever that is. So, but with electric sitar and kind of like these little motifs that are very, very Asian centric, which I love music from that part of the world.
Yeah, fantastic. Um, so you've been around for like 30 or even 40 years since the Injector days. You've won 6 ARIA awards, three of those, Male Artist of the Year in 93, 94, 95. So
Yeah, long.
how was it like, mate, in your 20s to walk into a nightclub being the most popular male in Australia? How was it like, mate? Actually, I think you're married by at that time, but it must be so awesome, wasn't it?
It was pretty fun. I mean, look, it was fun, but also kind of harrowing. It really was. I wasn't, I don't know. That's not what I kind of signed up for, as they say. I didn't sign up for that. I just wanted to make music and make a living out of it was my goal. And then that all happened and was like, wow. And I could see that it was kind of what goes up must come down and all that. That was always a bit daunting. Thankfully, I don't feel like I crash landed too bad. I didn't get the tall poppy syndrome like other people might have copped so much. Australia is notorious for chopping people down with the tall poppy thing is very real. But I just, yeah, I don't know. I was kind of glad when things kind of like settled down a little bit, and I could go back. I've always been a fan of being kind of a little bit invisible, but then being really visible. That's where I'm more comfortable. And I find the absurdity of doing a show, to this very day. I'll be on stage in front of thousands of people and just like they're watching me on a big screen. And then I drive off in a car and it's surreal. It's kind of
Mm.
like, then I can pull into a convenience store, 50 Ks away from the area and just kind of like be a complete nobody. And it's nice. I really enjoy just being under the radar. I like being in Bunnings or Woolworths or one of these conglomerate like things, institutions that we have to go to, because they're all over the planet or over our environs. And hearing one of my songs, it's always like, whoa, there's my song coming out of the speakers, and I'm in the screw section, trying to find the right screw, and next to someone who doesn't know me from a bar of soap, and that's a refreshing kind of leveling, humbling thing, and I'm happy with that. I never liked being like drawn that much attention to myself, to be honest. So I'm intrinsically a shy person, believe it or not. So yeah, but put me on stage, and put a guitar on me, that's a different story. That's where I'm not shy.
Yeah, totally understand. So speaking of, being the rock star, I mean, you were in Johnny Diesel and the Injectors back in '89. How significant was it for you to break off from the band, be a solo artist? Because at that point, you were from a pop artist to a radio commercial artist, isn't it? How significant was it for you to be a solo artist? You know?
it it happened kind of, well, I wouldn't say overnight, but it happened quite quickly. And I luckily had the I had sort of the good people around me, I think, were really helped. That kind of helped nurture me. And by the time I got to making Het Fidelity, which was my second album technically, I'd learned enough about songwriting, and I collaborated with enough people. It just kind of, I grew into the idea of being an artist. And those in those days, like my hero was like, heroes were people like Jimi Hendrix, Lenny Kravitz, Prince, of course. These were all solo artists that I just, really aspired to kind of, I just loved, people that were doing that kind of really wide canon of work. And we're talking like the early 90s. So there was a lot of great music for me to be kind of influenced by when I became a solo artist.
Yeah. Obviously, no regrets at all, obviously.
No, look, I mean, people are still wondering, they still pop that question, what happened? Why'd you leave the band? It's like, well, I know we had one hugely successful album as a band, but I was the only songwriter in the band. And
Mm.
I don't know, that's not really the reason either. But I just, after that one album, I didn't have the vision for album number two. And instead of just going through the motions, which we could have easily done, the record company would have been totally fine with just getting another record, I'm sure. But I didn't want to do that. I could see it coming. It was like, right, this is inevitable. We're going to make album number two. And I just didn't want to do something that I didn't feel like. I felt the first one, it felt fun and it was the right thing to do. And it was all like, let's go. And then when it came time to doing it again, I was like, no, I'm not feeling this. How else do I put it? I didn't have a master plan for kind of album and album and album. And that's when I realized, it was like, shit,
Mm.
this was a one trick pony. I didn't realize that it was like a one album project, a good project and a great project because it got me singing all over the world. But I just, that's when the epiphany came of like, I am destined to be a solo artist. And in the process, I've ended up having, what I call virtual bands, because I get to collaborate with people, and it's perfect. I love being able to do something with somebody, then saying, hey, see you next time, and we're not like bound to this. It's almost like a marriage, a band, which is not really the right thing for me personally.
Yeah. Hey, Mark, I'll be really looking forward to seeing you, mate. I'm a photographer as well, so I'll be taking some pictures if that's all right with you, mate. Yeah.
You hope you're familiar with, or if you're not, maybe check out my son Jesse's work. He does some beautiful stuff.
I
Jesse,
will.
yeah, Jesse Lizotte.
Lizotte, yeah, yeah. No, really good, man. Hey, Mark, do you mind doing a quick plug for me, mate? I'm Mark, I'm Johnny. Sorry, I'm Diesel. You're listening to Sheldon Ang Media, if that's all right with you. Sheldon
Sorry,
Ang
yeah,
Media.
I'm just going to write that down. How do I spell the
Sheldon Ang Media.
Sheldon Ang Media?
Sheldon Ang, A-N-G, A for Apple, N for November, G for Golf.
Sheldon Ang
Yeah, that's me, right?
Media. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, this is Diesel, and you're listening to Sheldon Ang Media.
Thank you so
No
much, mate.
worries.
All right, Mark. I'll keep calling you Johnny Diesel, mate. But nah, thank you so much, Mark. I really appreciate
No
buddy for your time, mate.
worries. I look forward to hearing what you've done.
See you in November. See you, buddy.
Cheers, man.
Yeah, bro. Thank you so much. Bye bye.